Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to the second under this banner, the second annual, but I believe it's our 11th or 12th overall TXN Sports World Football Feast. And tonight we're gonna do it. Now, if you're new to this, to anybody who may be watching for the first time, you're like, "What is Football Feast?" Well, very simply put, tomorrow, of course, as we all know, is the big day, Thanksgiving Day. And the NFL has 3 games on Thanksgiving. We're going to preview those games. In addition to that, we're also going to preview a Black Friday game for the first time in NFL history. And in addition to that, the full top 25 slate of college football for week number 13, rivalry week, hence why we call it the Football Feast. So without any further ado, let's dive right on in, gentlemen. I am your host, Anthony Florio, and I am joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher, Michael Bullock. Gentlemen, welcome to another Football Feast. And we're gonna do it as we always do it. There's no other way we would celebrate Thanksgiving than to do so the ravishing way. So and this is as ravishing of a way as it gets right here. So all right. So with all that being said, let's dive right on in. The NFL games, and we will start it. We got the 3 Thanksgiving games tomorrow, and we're going to start it off with the game that will be going down at 12:30. Kicks off at 12:30 on Fox. And Green Bay Packers in Detroit. You can find this game over on Fox. Kevin Burkhardt, Greg Olsen, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi. They will be there. And 8.5 This is the second meeting between the in Green Bay, and the Detroit Lions actually won that game by a score of 34-20. So Detroit cut into Green Bay's very large series lead. Green Bay still has a sizable lead in this series. It's now 103-76 with 7 ties. Lions have actually won 4 meetings in a row against the Packers, including the last 2 in Detroit. They won 15-9 in Detroit last year, 37-30 the year before in 2021. Green Bay's last win in Detroit came in 2020, 31-24, the final there. We're not going to go, as fully in depth as we usually do, but we will give it, at least some moderate coverage here, because I don't have those big fancy previews. You don't get that until Friday night, I'm sorry to say, but this is only for tonight. So this is simply put, this is a big game in the division for both teams. A survival test for Green Bay and a big one for the Lions if they want to try and get home field advantage in the NFC. The Lions have had defensive issues as of late, and Jordan Love has played well the last 2 weeks. That will keep the Packers in this game, but the Detroit Lions, I believe, will win this game. I think it's going to be a better game than expected. I'm going to say 31-27, but at the end, I got the Detroit Lions winning it. 31-27, the Detroit Lions defeat the Green Bay Packers and continue this magical season for them. So there isn't much more to say here. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. The Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions starting off our Football Feast 2023. Lions looking to sweep the Packers for the second year in a row and make it 5 straight against them. Who would have thought that?
Yeah, and without a doubt, everything that's been going on. Normally, when you talk about this Football Feast, you start looking around and you're thinking, traditionally when you see Green Bay versus Detroit, you're like, oh, this is easy. Green Bay wins the game. They dominate. They do everything that they normally do. Well, not this time around, guys, because Green Bay looks like they're still kind of sputtering. Where I'll openly admit it, the Detroit Lions are one of the most feared teams in the NFL, and this is a team you do not want to face right about now. Um, Look, with Amon St. Brown, with Montgomery doing what he's doing right now, with the way that the Lions have been running the football really well, Jared Goff, you know what? They called him a liability in LA when, they kind of blamed him for being the reason why that they lost the Super Bowl against the Patriots in Super Bowl 53. Well, he has not been a liability at all for the Detroit Lions. And you know what? You got to give a lot of credit to the head coach Dan Campbell. Yes, I know everybody kind of jokes around about the gnawing of the kneecaps at the very beginning. His in his introductory press conference when he took the team over just a few years ago. But this team has been gnawing kneecaps. They've been showing that kind of respect and level and attitude and everything else, whatever you want to say. And I'll say this team right now is without a doubt one of the most surprised teams in the NFC, one of the surprise team in the NFL. And I like this team. I respect this team. This team's been so good in the recent months. There's really nothing more to add here. Detroit wins yet again and continues their impressive run in 2023. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Well, like you said, this has been an improbable season for this Detroit Lions team, and they carried that momentum uh, into from the way they finished last season, and it's carried over into this season. And they're having one of the best seasons I've ever remembered for this team. And yeah, I mean Jared Goff. I mean, what can you say? I mean, he's played really well. St. Brown, the defense it's been really good, and yeah, and it's going to be a tough day for Green Bay. I mean, going into this, so I expect this run to continue for Detroit. So I'm going to make it unanimous, and I'm going with the Detroit Lions to win as well. So with that being said, let's move on to the other game that's going on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, we got two others, and that will be tomorrow afternoon at 4:30. A game you can see on CBS. And according to our side of the ledger, I do believe this is our de facto Zonk game of the week.
If I'm yes, it is.
I figured as much. Okay, it is the Zonk game of the week, as it will be the Washington Commanders squaring off against the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. You can find it on CBS, of course. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson. First of two games you're going to be hearing them on the call for. I think you may know which game they'll be calling on Sunday, if you know what I mean. But we'll get into that on Friday night. But for right now, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson will have this one. Dallas opening up as a 13.5-point favorite here. First meeting of the season between these two. Dallas with a sizable series lead, 76-46 with two ties. Last year, both teams split. Both teams won at home. So Dallas won at home, 25-10. The Washington Commanders have not won in Dallas since 2020, a 41-16 beatdown, but Dallas has won the last two meetings against Washington, 25-10 last year, 56-14 the year before. MF, don't be surprised if we get a score line similar to that. Washington and Dallas. Washington against the Giants. Hoofa. But whereas the Dallas Cowboys, watch out for Dallas in the NFC. Here they come.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's very interesting, to say the very least, especially, we always get this negativity about how Dallas goes. And, lately Dallas has been playing as good as any team has been playing it in the NFL. I mean, what they've been doing lately has been really well. Dak Prescott looked amazing in the last few weeks. I know there's some people talk about MVP. I say pump the brakes on that. I don't think MVP is definitely in the cards, but definitely has done a really good job, played very well. Dallas needs to establish a run attack. I think that's the only thing that's kind of missing in their arsenal. If they have a good running game, then Dallas probably could put themselves into that upper echelon of the NFC. Washington, look, they're like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde right now. There's been some games where they've done really well. There's been games where they struggle. Unfortunately, Ron Rivera is on the hot seat. In my opinion, he's on the hot seat. And yes, at the end of the day, I do believe that the Dallas Cowboys will win this game. Nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas has played really well. I mean, I don't understand why there's been so much critics on this team. I mean, you continue to hear, especially whenever they lose, oh, it's this team is not a Super Bowl caliber team. Mike McCarthy needs to be fired, yada yada yada. But I think the thing is, I mean, because the thing is, they haven't been. I mean, they've been to the playoffs, but they've gotten as far as the divisional round. So until they get over that proverbial hump and get it even further, there's still going to be some detractors. There's still going to be some critics that are going to come out and criticize this team. That's just a fact. But this team's been playing well, and I expect them to handle their business with the Washington Commanders. So I got the Cowboys winning this one. It's yours, Florio.
The Commanders are coming off a dud last week against the Giants while Dallas is flying high. The Cowboys are playing as well as any team in the league. Washington's offensive line is an issue, which will lead to the Cowboys having a field day with their defensive front. Dak Prescott plays well again. Cowboys roll 32-16. Dallas all over Washington. Primetime game. This will be on NBC. And MF, I'm guessing cross flex on this one or no? Or are we going to leave it as is?
We will leave it as is. There is no cross flex.
Very good. Okay. So this game will be on NBC. Primetime action, as it will feature the San Francisco 49ers squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks. 8:20 kickoff, Lumen Field in Seattle. The Sunday night crew working this game. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark. San Francisco opening up as a 7-point favorite. First meeting of the season between these two NFC Western Division rivals. Seattle leads the all-time series 29-19. Last year in Seattle, San Francisco won 21-13. Seattle's last home win against the Niners the year before, 2021. That was a 30-23 final. Michael Bullock, started off with you here. Big game in the NFC West. First place in the division to the winner. But thing is, San Francisco looking like their old selves again. Seattle may not have Geno Smith.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, it was a little bit of a struggle for the 49ers, but they're starting to look like that team that went to the NFC Championship game last season. And, yeah, the offense is starting to look good again. Brock Purdy's been playing well. The defense is definitely making plays here. And Seattle's been playing good, but like you said, no Geno Smith, so it could make this a very, very difficult task for the Seahawks here. So I expect the 49ers to come in and continue on this roll and for them to get first place in the NFC West. So San Fran wins. It's yours, Florio.
This is a huge division game for two teams that have had a good rivalry over the last decade. The Seahawks are coming off a bad loss to the LA Rams, while the 49ers are coming off two dominant victories. Geno Smith is banged up, so his health is key. The 49ers have the look of a super team again. They show it here. 28-19, San Francisco defeats Seattle. So not much more to say here. MF, San Fran, and Seattle. We're going to leave it as is. If Geno Smith can't go for Seattle, then oh boy, I think we might be looking at another dominant win for San Francisco. So MF, your thoughts? San Fran and Seattle to close out the slate tomorrow night.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the thing is with San Francisco, they've been one of the most dominating teams in all of the NFL. I think that's why a lot of people are considering them a Super Bowl contender. And the thing is that with the Niners and the way they've been playing, defensively especially, it's just so explosive. But at the end of the day, I gotta feel like this is the same way it's gonna go. I really got nothing more to add here. Like you said, the starting quarterback could be, in with different situations. We can see how this plays out. But I will say this: if Seattle could make a game out of it, but I'm just gonna say it's gonna be more of a victory for the Niners. So give me San Fran to win it. Anthony, we got a Black Friday game, first time ever in NFL history. Who's the two teams? What's going down?
Yes, indeed, MF. For the first time in the history of the NFL, we're going to have ourselves a Black Friday game the day after Thanksgiving. Never been done before. Maybe in the early years, but for now we're doing it here. And MF, it's going to be your team, your Miami Dolphins, squaring off against the New York Jets. And correct me if I'm wrong, MF, but isn't this I believe this game came in at number 6 on our side of the ledger. I think it came in at number 6 here. So
yes, it did.
Okay, so it's number 6. All right. Reason why I'm asking is MF and I haven't really had a chance to set our crews in motion yet, but which is expected because we got a lot of things going on, with the holiday coming up, but we are gonna hopefully have some time to get that done, and we can plug that come Friday night. But right now, it's our number 6 game of the week. The Miami Dolphins squaring off against the New York Jets, MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. Amazon Prime Video, 3:00 kickoff on Friday afternoon. Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, Kaylee Hartung, they will be there. Miami opening up as a 9.5-point favorite. First meeting of the season between these two AFC Eastern Division rivals. Miami leads the all-time series only 57-56. That's how close it is. 57-56 Miami with a tie. They split last year. The Jets beat down the Dolphins in New York last year, 40-17. Dolphins' last win in New York was the year before, 2021. They won 24-17. So here we go. This Friday game, the day after Thanksgiving, isn't what it was expected to be, with the Jets being an offensive disaster. The Jets' defense is coming off a bad showing against Buffalo, and will be challenged here by MF's Dolphins. Tim Boyle will start at quarterback for the Jets. But will it matter? Even so, I think the Jets could keep it close with their defense, but I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up getting another beatdown like what Buffalo put on them the other day. Much needed, by the way. Get more into that Friday, but only because of the Jet defense. I think Miami still wins, but it may not be as dominant as you think, even though I know MF's going to beg to differ on this, and he'll have a bit to say about it. 21-16, the Miami Dolphins defeat the New York Jets and keep that stranglehold in the AFC East going. So not much more to say. MF, come on in. Your Dolphins barely got by the Las Vegas Raiders, but I do need to address something really quickly. I'm sorry I didn't mention this beforehand, but before we get to MF, I do want to mention that Amazon. Let me tell you, folks. I know a lot of people don't have Amazon and the whole nine. We always talk about that every week, but this game will be on Amazon Prime Video at 3. And you don't need to have a paid Prime member account to watch it. All you need is a free Amazon account. But if you would rather watch it, on your local TV affiliates, Miami, you can watch the game on your CBS affiliate, which is WFOR Channel 4. And for the people of New York, you can watch it on your Fox affiliate, Fox Channel 5, WNYW in New York. So that's all for the people in Miami and New York. But if you have a free Amazon account, this one's on the house. So that's awesome to hear. So with that being said, MF, your Dolphins barely got by the Las Vegas Raiders. It took a game-ending interception by Jalen Ramsey for you boys to escape a game Raider team. And the Jets, oh boy, Buffalo. Oh, did we put a whooping on them? Woo.
Yeah, and the thing is that at the end of the day, I get it. I know a lot of people are thinking the same thing, that Miami's offense, I don't know what got into them. Like, that was a weird game. Offensively, they got stuck in neutral most of the night. They just looked bad. Tua made a bad interception. Uh, I know if you've been following the Hard Knocks with the Miami Dolphins, the new in-season Hard Knocks with Miami Dolphins that actually debuted, oddly enough, last night. They went into about the Dolphin game, so you knew that Tyreek Hill had a hand injury. Tried to play through it and did play through it. Wasn't the best performance by any stretch of the imagination. But the thing is that sometimes you have to have these gritty performances to line up and look even better. And at the end of the day, that's exactly what Miami just did. So they played better than expected. It was a big win for the Miami Dolphins. And they got to play better than what they do. Obviously the Jet defense is a major problem. They're going to be a major problem going in. So we know if you're the Miami Dolphins offense, you got to sell a fight on your hands. You got to be prepared for that war. Defensively, you got to bring the fire, the passion, everything that you brought against Aiden O'Connell. You got to bring that and then some against the New York Jets. Yeah, they got a running game. Yeah, they got Garrett Wilson, but they got an unknown quarterback going into the fray against the Dolphins. If I'm Vic Fangio, I'm sending the dogs after them. I don't care what you do in this situation. Blitz early, blitz often, get aggressive on this guy. This guy has no idea what he's about to be walking into. Especially a game like this. This is a divisional matchup. It's going to be a close fight. I think it's going to be close as well. I agree with Anthony Florio. Normally, anytime we play an AFC Eastern Division opponent, it's always a dogfight. Let's be realistic. So I think Miami will win this game. My score is 23-13. Miami beats the Jets. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Bullock, are you there? Huh, that's weird. Not sure. Okay. All right, Bullock. Dolphins and Jets. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this. I don't know what's going on with Miami. I mean, that game on Sunday, that never should have been close. I mean, they should have been able to handle their business with the Raiders, but they got a lot more than what they bargained for, and yeah, it took a Jalen Ramsey interception to pretty much seal the victory. And yeah, the Jets literally got they got their butts whooped here big time by the Bills, and Boyle's now going to be the starter for them. And as Zach Wilson, I heard he's down to third string. So once again, it goes to what I've said so many times: Zach Wilson cannot and will not be trusted because he doesn't do good of taking care of the football here. So Yeah, I think this should be an easy day for the Dolphins here. I just don't trust this Jets team. I mean, especially offensively. Defensively, yes. Offensively, no. Yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say here. So the Dolphins win. So that's pretty much it for the NFL side of things. Now let's get into some college action, Florio, and we actually got a game on Thanksgiving night.
Right. Sorry, my screen just froze on me. So when it comes to the rest of the NFL slate, you'll have to wait until Friday night for that. So with all that being said, gentlemen, let's dive on in to the main event. Normally, the NFL is usually the main event, but in this case, it's not the main event. Let's start it off with the game that will be taking place tomorrow night on Thanksgiving night. In addition to the 3 NFL games you will have on Thanksgiving, we're also going to have the first of the slate for this week, the Egg Bowl, the Battle of Mississippi, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night on ESPN. The number 12 Ole Miss Rebels squaring off against the Mississippi State Bulldogs, Davis Wade Stadium, Starkville, Mississippi, on ESPN. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kubelik will have the call of that one. And Ole Miss opening up as a 10.5-point favorite. So we reset, and I'll take the lead on this one as we reset. So here we go. The Egg Bowl. Ole Miss is a far better team on paper, and the Rebels' balanced offense is the best unit on the field. Still, a road game on short rest is always tough to win handily, but nonetheless, I'm going with the Ole Miss Rebels to win this one. Close game, high-scoring game. I'm going to say 31-23. Ole Miss gets by Mississippi State and wins this latest chapter of the Egg Bowl. So, not much more to say, MF. We kick off the college football slate tomorrow night, Thanksgiving night, with the Egg Bowl. Number 12, Ole Miss against Mississippi State. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I would probably say Ole Miss definitely should win this game. Like you said, this is going to be an interesting matchup. It's always interesting, but yeah, Ole Miss should win it. Nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. This one, I got Ole Miss winning this one and winning the latest chapter of the Egg Bowl. So there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
All right, we move on to the next game, and now we have Friday games. We got 7 Friday games, including 2 in a 12 noon window. And next up, we will have the number 13. This will be tomorrow. This will be on Friday afternoon at high noon over on Fox. The number 13 Oklahoma Sooners at home at Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. And they're going to be welcoming the TCU Horned Frogs to town. And on the call for that game will be Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, and Josh Sims. Oklahoma also opening up as a 10.5-point favorite. So MF, we started with you. Number Number 13, Oklahoma at home against TCU to kick off the Friday afternoon action.
Yeah, it's safe to say I got Oklahoma winning as well. They're undefeated at home, winners of 2 in a row. They've been playing really good football lately. They had a tough game against BYU and almost got upset in there. However, Oklahoma was able to hold them off, especially at the end, with some very aggressive play calls, especially towards the end, and some critical ball control that they were able to do to get the job done. But I do believe Oklahoma will get the job done. They should win this game. It's going to be a tight one, but I got Oklahoma winning. So, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, Oklahoma, I mean, they got more than what they bargained for against BYU and basically almost got upset there. So, yeah, I don't expect them to make the same mistake here. I think they should be able to handle their business with them. And yeah, I got Oklahoma winning this one. It's Boomer Sooner all day. It's yours, Florio.
Definitely. Basically, every game outside of Fort Worth has been an issue for TCU, which is staring at the prospect of missing a bowl altogether after making the national championship game last season. Oklahoma quarterback Dylan Gabriel exited last week's win over BYU with an upper body injury, but he is expected to play. So the Sooners are sturdy favorites here. 36-24. I got Oklahoma winning this game. So needless to say there. So let's move on. The other 12 noon game on Friday, as it will feature the now number 17 Iowa Hawkeyes on the road against the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. High noon on Friday, and you can find this game over on CBS. And CBS will have this game, and on the call for that one will be Tom McCarthy, Ross Tucker, and Tiffany Blackman. And Nebraska, believe it or not, Nebraska is actually opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. Michael Bullock, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I think the odds makers got this one wrong. I mean, I think it should be Iowa coming in as the favorite as far as I'm concerned. But you know what? It is what it is. So yeah, Iowa. I mean, look, they already punched their ticket to the Big Ten title game next week. But I mean, they obviously need a win and continue that momentum going into that Big Ten title game. While it's a big game for Nebraska as well, because a win here and they become bowl eligible. So this is a big game for both sides. So, but at the end of the day, I got the Iowa Hawkeyes winning this one, and to build that momentum going into next week's Big Ten title game against either Ohio State or Michigan. So, nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Save for a 31-0 loss to Penn State in September, Iowa has not given up more than 16 points in any game. It's been a remarkable year for the Hawkeyes, who continue to grind out tight wins and lock themselves into the Big Ten championship game last week with that win over Illinois. It'll be another ugly game. It'll be another defensive battle, but I think Iowa will come out on top here. 17-9, Iowa gets by Nebraska. So with that, MF, your thoughts as Nebraska opening up as a 2.5-point favorite against Iowa. That's something.
Yeah, a little surprising about that as well, but I am with you guys as well. I think Iowa should get the job done. It will be a defensive battle. They've been very defensive lately. Iowa wins. Nothing more to say. Florio, go.
All right, 3:30 game next on the Friday slate. 3:30 kickoff, and this will be on ABC on Friday afternoon, as it will feature the number 23 Tulane Green Wave, and they're going to be welcoming the University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners to town. Yes, sir. Yulman Stadium in New Orleans, and this game will be on ABC. And And on the call for this one, it will be, just want to make sure I have it right here. All right. It'll be Clay Madvik, Rod Gilmore, and Lauren Sisler. And Tulane opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. So let's dive on into this one. I know I have it in here. Let me, all right, I got it. Winner, and there's actually high stakes in this game, gentlemen. The winner will go to the American Athletic Conference title game. No pressure. UTSA has racked up 41 points a game in AAC play, while Tulane's defense has mostly carried the team. Something, as they say, has to give. So there isn't. Oh yeah, that's right. It is me. All right. Yep. All right. Like I said, the winner here goes to the AAC title game. UTSA 41 points a game in conference play. Tulane's defense has mostly carried the team. Something, as we all say, has to give. I'm inclined to trust the Green Wave at home because they've consistently made their opponent a one-dimensional offense, but I don't feel overly confident about it. But I got to go with Tulane here. I mean, especially with the game being in Tulane, I got to go with Tulane to win this one. But UTSA is going to give these boys fits. Believe me, they will. 30-27, Tulane gets by the Roadrunners. So the Roadrunners are going to get caught by this Wile E. Coyote, if you know what I mean. So not much more to say here. MF, UTSA, number 23, Tulane, AAC title game berth to the winner.
Yeah. Why did I expect that Coyote Roadrunner gimmick was going to come out of you? I mean, oh my God. Look, I can't say anything bad. I can't,
Come on, Fletch.
make.
You expect less from Florio?
Huh?
You expect anything less from Florio?
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Nothing bad to say about it. I just had a laugh about it. I got a good laugh out of it. But no, at the end of the day, I do believe that it is Tulane. The Tulane Green Wave should be able to win the game. Like you said, not a convincing performance, but I think they'll get the job done. So, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you guys. I mean, I got Tulane winning this one as well. I mean, UTSA is definitely going to give them some fits, but I think in the end, Tulane gets the victory and punches their ticket to the American Athletic Conference Championship game next week. So, nothing more to say. It is yours, Florio.
All right, and we move on. 4 o'clock. It's the second half of the CBS college football doubleheader on Friday. They have Iowa and Nebraska at noon. They go from the Big Ten to the SEC at 4 o'clock. On CBS, the number 9 Missouri Tigers squaring off against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Donald W. Reynolds Memorial Stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. On CBS, and on the call for this one will be Rich Waltz, Aaron Taylor, and Amanda Guerra. And Missouri opening up as an 8.5-point favorite. So, MF, I believe this goes to you to start it off here. Number 9, Missouri at Arkansas. Missouri with one last chance to add to this most magical of seasons for them.
I do believe they'll get the job done. I do believe that it will be them to win it. Missouri has had a great season, no doubt about it. And I think their season is just going to get a little more better. So I got Missouri winning. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I expect Missouri to continue this role that they're on right now. I mean, I expect them to handle their business with Arkansas here. So I got Missouri winning as well. So it's yours, Florio.
After escaping Florida with a last-second win, Missouri can beat Arkansas to secure a trip to a New Year's Six bowl. Who would have saw that coming? Knowing those stakes, Arkansas will be motivated to spring an upset. But that's a very uncomfortable pick, considering the Razorbacks' issues on offense this season. I got Missouri winning this game. My final score, 27-13. Get them one step closer to a New Year's Six Bowl. What a story for Missouri. One of the big surprises in college football this season. No question. Primetime games. We got two 7:30 games here before we get to the main event of the Friday night slate. And starting off the 7:30 action will be the number 7 Texas Longhorns at home at Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium in Austin, Texas. And they're going to be welcoming the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. 7:30 kickoff. You can find this game over on ABC. Dave Patch, Dusty Dvoracek, and Tom Luginbill on the call. And Texas opening up as a 14-point favorite. Michael Bullock, we started with you. Number 7 Texas at home against Texas Tech on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean Texas. I mean they're they've been playing well lately, and they've had some really good games before. But I just don't think with these two programs. But I don't expect a close one here. I expect Texas to win this one and hook them horns on the Raiders. So nothing more to say. Texas wins. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah. While a 3-game winning streak has shuttled Texas Tech to bowl eligibility, the Red Raiders have a tough task ahead. Winning is Texas's safest path to the Big 12 championship game, and the Longhorns' stingy defense has surrendered just 4.6 yards a snap at home. I got Texas winning this one, 37-20, Texas over Texas Tech. MF, we know where you're going with this one.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. I think Texas is going to win it too. I don't think there's really much for us to add here. So, yeah, we'll just move right on along. So, Anthony, it's yours.
I think we can call this a special Saturday night edition of the Big Ten on NBC. I guess we could call this Big Ten Friday night on NBC for this one, at least for this one only. Also at 7:30, the number 11 Penn State Nittany Lions squaring off against the Michigan State Spartans. Now, normally you would expect me to say, Spartan Stadium, East Lansing, Michigan. No, this game is not going to be at East Lansing. It's going to be at Ford Field in Detroit, guys. Yeah. Number 11 Penn State and Michigan State, Ford Field, the home of the Detroit Lions. That's where this game's going to take place. And it will be the Big Ten Saturday night crew working the Friday night here. Noah Eagle, Todd Blackledge, Catherine Tappan. They will be at Ford Field. And Penn State opening up as a 20.5-point favorite. So there's nothing left to say on this one except the context of this matchup is awesome. Ford Field is set to host Michigan's high school state championships over the weekend. And this Big Ten battle will be the precursor to those games. Oh, and Penn State should have little issue rolling over Michigan State. I got Penn State winning this one, 27-13. Penn State over Michigan State. Nothing more to say. MF, number 11, Penn State, Michigan State, Ford Field this time around.
Yeah, no, big deal. Big matchup, big game. But like you said, Penn State is just a team that's possessed right now. So yeah, I'm in total agreement here. I think Penn State wins the game as well. Wins this one going away. And I don't think Michigan State's gonna cause much of a problem for them. So yeah, give me Penn State, and Bullock is yours.
Yeah, I mean, it isn't a big in Ford Field, but it doesn't matter. Penn State's going to have no problem. They're going to handle their business with Michigan State. So Penn State winning. So Florio, well, it's time to move on to the first of our double main event when it comes to the games. And if it weren't for the game coming up on Saturday, this game would have been the game of the week.
Yes, indeed. Any other week, it would have been the game of the week, but not this week. It's the game of the Friday slate, no question about it. The first half of our big double main event as part of rivalry week in college football. Tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. kickoff. It will be on Fox. And you're like, Fox? What about SmackDown? No, SmackDown's over on FS1. If you want SmackDown, the go-home show for Survivor Series, go to FS1. because this game is too big. This game is way too big for FS1, with all due respect. It deserves the Fox spotlight, and why not? The number 2 game of the week, the Civil War. The number 6, Oregon Ducks, hosting the number 16, Oregon State Beavers, Autzen Stadium, Eugene, Oregon. Jason Benetti, Brock Heward, and Allison Williams, they will have it. Oregon opening up as a 13.5-point favorite. MF, first half of the double main event, the Civil War.
Normally, any other year, you would say this is going to be a great battle. This is going to be a fight. We all know that. But like I've seen so many times, especially with Oregon, other than the one loss that they suffered with the one loss that they suffered against Washington, this team has always been prepared, always been ready for a mega fight. Didn't matter if it was Colorado, didn't matter if it was USC, didn't matter if it was Utah. Whenever they got ready for when there's a colossal battle, a big fight, they always answered the bell. They're going to answer it one more time. They are a team possessed. They want to be that number 2 team. They want another shot. Washington, in Vegas, at Allegiant, to rewrite that wrong that happened to them earlier in the year. They got to win this game in order for that to happen. They will. They'll get it done. They're going to Vegas. Washington, you're going to have to deal with an angry duck come next week, because I got them winning this game. So nothing more to say. Oregon wins. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, what can you say? I mean, this is a big game in the Pac-12. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, yeah, Oregon is obviously the proverbial favorite, no doubt about it. But Oregon State, I think, is definitely going to give them some fits here. I mean, they know what's at stake, but in the end, I just think it's going to be too much for them. I mean, I got Oregon winning this one as well. I mean, this is going to be a fun game, and yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio. I got Oregon winning.
Oregon is playing some of the best football in the country. The Ducks are on a 5-game winning streak in which they scored at least 35 points in every game. Oregon ran right through the Arizona State Sun Devils defense last week to a 49-13 beatdown in preparation for tomorrow night's rivalry clash with Oregon State. Bo Nix receives most of the national headlines from the Oregon program, but the Ducks defense deserves a lot of credit for the dominant way in which they have won over the last month. The Ducks held 3 of their last 4 opponents under 20 points and limited the Caleb Williams-led USC Trojans to 27 points 2 weeks ago. Oregon State could be outmatched from the start in its second straight tough matchup in a row. The Beavers put in a ton of effort into their home loss to the Washington Huskies, and the fatigue from the brutal 2-game stretch could catch up to them in the second half. Oregon State will certainly be up for the rivalry contest in the first half, but no one competed with Oregon since they lost to Washington. And that trend should continue on Friday night inside Autzen Stadium. Oregon similarly needs a win to guarantee a Pac-12 championship game berth. Plus, there's a revenge factor for the Ducks, who squandered a 17-point fourth-quarter lead to Oregon State in last year's matchup. Oregon quarterback Bo Nix will further pad his Heisman Trophy resume in a high-scoring clutch win. I agree, gentlemen. I, too, have the Oregon Ducks winning this game. High-scoring game. I think it'll be I can see this thing being close into the fourth quarter, but I think Oregon will put it away with a late score. 41-31, Oregon over Oregon State in the Civil War.
But it's time, Florio. It's time.
You ready, gentlemen? Are you ready for
Let's,
the main event?
in the immoral words of Tom Brady, let's go.
Absolutely, let's go. First thing we want to get right out of the way. The coverage for this game is unreal. The Fox, the big Saturday crew on Fox, normally that starts at 10 a.m. for 2 hours. They're adding an extra hour. It's going to be 9 a.m., a 3-hour pregame show for the Fox crew. In addition to that, they're not the only ones who are going to be there. College Game Day is going to be there as well, and rightfully so, because this is, beyond the shadow of a doubt, the game of the year in college football, with the feel of a game of the century, a game that good old MF Michael Fletcher has gone on the record and dubbed this as an unofficial college football playoff game. Here we go, gentlemen. There isn't anything left to say except for this. To kick off the Saturday afternoon slate, 12 noon, the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes on the road against the number 3 Michigan Wolverines. Michigan Stadium, Ann Arbor, Michigan, the big house. You know who's working this game. There's no other crew that can work this other than Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, and the All-American girl, Jenny Taft. Michigan opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. Michael Bullock, I believe this goes to you. You get the honor of leading off the main event, the game of the year, the game of the century. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Michigan in the big house. College football playoff implications, Big Ten implications. This is truly what the words main event were meant for here, brother, because this is the main event. Brother, it don't get no bigger than this.
It certainly doesn't get any bigger than this, Florio. I mean, like you said, this is the main event. This is the game of the year. And this is the game of the century between two of the greatest rivals in the history of college football. So much at stake in this matchup. The winner of this game, it advances to the Big Ten title game, guarantees themselves a spot in the college football playoff, while for the loser of this game, it's going to be a tough loss and maybe looking more like maybe a New Year's Six Bowl for whoever comes out the loser in this one. Both of these teams come in with chips on their shoulder. For the Ohio State Buckeyes, the last 2 meetings against Michigan have not gone their way. 2 years ago at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan beat them 42-27 thanks to Hassan Haskins literally having the game of his life. And then last year at Ohio Stadium, the Horseshoe, they run all over Ohio State thanks to Donovan Edwards and an impressive performance by J.J. McCarthy. It's got to leave a bitter taste in the mouth for the Buckeyes. While for the Michigan Wolverines, they're playing this game for their coach, who is still suspended. This is the last game of that 3-game suspension. Their offensive coordinator is still the interim coach for this one. And like you said, the coverage for this is so big. Like you said, it's a 3-hour big noon kickoff, and College Game Day is going to be there. I mean, yes, there are all these other big games that are going on, but the whole center of the college football universe is going to be feasting an eye on Ann Arbor, Michigan for this big game. For Michigan, what they got to do, if they want to make it 3 years in a row, J.J. McCarthy has got to take care of that football and make those big plays that he's had before. That running back tandem of Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, they got to establish that run game. The receiving core has to make some big plays. The defense has to get pressure on their quarterback, make it very tough for them, contain that ground game, cover their receivers up, and they have to play well on special teams. If they can do all that, then I see them making it 3 years in a row. For Ohio State, they gotta do the same thing as well. Man, I mean, we've seen a lot of big games when it comes to Ohio State and Michigan, but I can never remember having this much hype since. I think you got to go back to 2006 when they were number 1 and number 2. But man, either way, this is going to be a fun game to watch, and so much so, me and Anthony Florio, we do Raw chats on when it comes to Monday Night Raw, but he and I agreed we're going to do a chat for this big game because it's just too damn big for just to simply watch it separately. So I'm glad I'm going to get to share this opportunity with you, Florio, and there's certainly no better way than to have this chat for the biggest game of the year. Man, this is tough. If this game were at the Horseshoe, I would give Ohio State a chance and have them coming out on top. But it's in Ann Arbor, Michigan. You got the over 100,000 fans that's going to pack that stadium. They're going to be rocking like crazy. Like Fletch said, this has got the feeling of a playoff game. It's big for both teams, but at the end of the day, Michigan will pull this off and win this one. This game is going to live up to the hype big time. I'm going to say Michigan wins this one 31-24 in overtime. That's how I see this one going. It's going to be close all the way, and it's going to go to overtime, and Michigan is going to pull it out 31-24 in overtime and makes it 3 years in a row over their long-time standing rivals. Anthony Florio, it's been talked about for days, and come Saturday, all that talk is going to end, and they're going to settle it on that field in Ann Arbor.
Indeed, they will, Bullock. And I'll tell you what, very well said. Well said on everything, and it will be an honor to have that chat with you. I mean, normally I would prefer to watch the game separately, but in this case, Bullock makes a great point. I mean, it's too. This game is way too big, and I'm sure MF's probably going to have work commitments at that time. Otherwise, I'm sure he would have. If he was available, I probably would have had him join us for this. Maybe we could have done something big with this, but I'm sure he has work commitments. We'll get to him in a little bit. I know MF's probably pacing back and forth, like a Randy Orton or something, just thinking about this game, because this is the game that he has literally circled in blood red on his calendar every single year. Whether it's a big game or a so-so game, it doesn't matter. And I know MF's going to have a lot to say in just a moment. But first, let me dive on in. Michigan gained the upper hand in its rivalry with Ohio State by getting tougher on the interior. The Wolverines bullied the Buckeyes with their incredible ground production in the last 2 years of this rivalry. Michigan will try to bludgeon the Ohio State defense with 30-plus rushing plays behind Blake Corum, who did not play much in last year's meeting. Blake Corum, who has a rushing touchdown in every game this season, will be vital to the Wolverines' success on home soil. Ohio State owns the second-best scoring defense in the FBS behind Michigan, but they allow 108.5 rushing yards a game. Michigan leads the FBS in total yards allowed per game at 235. Ohio State is third at 253 conceded per contest. The Wolverines have a clear strategy to enforce their dominance with the ground game on offense and to keep Ohio State's offense out of a rhythm. Michigan ran for 252 yards on 35 carries last season at Ohio State, and it held the Buckeyes to 3 second-half points. Blake Corum, J.J. McCarthy, and company know exactly how to beat Ohio State. And until the Buckeyes prove they caught up to Michigan's success on the ground, the Wolverines have to be favored in this one. The winner of the game has scored 42-plus points in 4 consecutive meetings. However, this should be a quote-unquote defensive battle, though. Ohio State has made enormous improvement on that side of the ball, but I believe Michigan's powerful offensive line and home field advantage will win out even as Jim Harbaugh is not on the sideline. This Michigan team, it's like a one versus all with them. It's like a us against them mentality after all the BS and all the drama that they have been through with this whole science stealing nonsense in which Jim Harbaugh got suspended. And this is the last game of that suspension. Sharon Moore has done a commendable job handling a most difficult situation. I give credit to him for a job well done. And they're playing for him. And you know the emotion that man brings out of this team. And with everything that Michigan has been through, I mean, now I'm not as big of a Michigan fan as MF and Bullock are, because obviously you guys know where my heart lies. My heart lies with Notre Dame, and we'll get into them in a little while. But I'll be honest here. I'm pulling for these guys. I mean, I want to see this team. Do big things. I want to see this team, not only make the playoff, but go all the way to the Natty. That's what I want to see. But they got to get past this game first. And if they do, then they'll have to face Iowa in the Big Ten Championship. Get by that. Bada bing, bada boom, you're back in the playoff, baby. So we'll see what happens. They got a long way to go if they want to, silence the haters, shut them all up, give them the big fat FU middle finger a la Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I want to see, and I'm rooting for these guys. I really am. So nothing left to say. Michael Bullock, I agree with you. I, too, have the Michigan Wolverines winning this game. My final score, 31-27. You almost had the same score I did, but I got it 31-27. The Michigan Wolverines defeat the Ohio State Buckeyes in a game that I believe, and we believe, will be a 5-star Shakespearean drama classic. We wouldn't have it any other way. It has to be that. So I know MF would prefer a decisive win. We wouldn't mind it, but as long as Michigan wins, that's all that matters. So I got Michigan winning 31-27. Good old MF, Michael Fletcher. You've seen this game so many times in your lifetime. You have it circled in blood red on your calendar every year. And I know this time around, that blood red circle is even more so now, more than ever. This is without a doubt the biggest Ohio State-Michigan game ever. You called it an unofficial playoff game. And it's only fitting that for at least this round, you take it home before we get into the rest of our slate. It's all yours, babe.
Basically, there's really nothing more to say, kid. This is it. It doesn't get any bigger than this moment. Michigan, Ohio State. The winner goes to the Big Ten championship game. The winner goes to play Iowa. And more importantly, they have the inside track to the college football playoff. Like I said, this is essentially an elimination game. And with everything riding on the line, with everything that's going in. Obviously, a lot of people going earlier in the year was thinking Michigan was probably going to win it. Now you're starting to hear a lot of rumblings about maybe Ohio State taking it. They're looking a lot more sharper. They're looking a lot more better. Michigan hasn't played as great the last couple of weeks. Maybe the distraction is getting to Michigan than first realized. But it is going to be senior day, the big house. And on top of that, you're going up against your biggest rival and the team that I know, if you believe Michigan, probably the one that blew the whistle on the Michigan Wolverines on the sign stealing scandal. I think it's pretty apparent it was Ohio State that probably triggered it. That probably sent some kind of memo to the Big Ten to say, yo, hey, hold up, something's going on over there. So there's enough ammunition and enough anger coming from Michigan that they're going to want to beat the living daylights out of the Buckeyes. Now, I agree. I think it's going to be a fight to the very end, but I think it's going to be traditional Michigan Ohio State, like it's been the last couple of years, where Michigan, Ohio State will probably go back and forth, maybe for 3 quarters, but then Michigan gets a big touchdown or something and stretches this lead out where I think it could end up being like a 2-touchdown score more than anything else. So I'm not calling for a complete blowout, but I feel like this could be like a 38-24 type affair with Michigan winning. So I got nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
It's hard to move on from that, but we got to move on here, guys. We got plenty more feasting to do here when it comes to rivalry week, and we have only 2 other 12 noon games. And we now move on to the Battle of Kentucky, as it will be the number 10 Louisville Cardinals at home at L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium, and they're going to be hosting their hated rivals, the Kentucky Wildcats. You can find this game over on ABC. Joe Tessitore, Jesse Palmer, Katie George will have it. And Louisville opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. So not much more to say. Let's dive on in here. Kentucky has not surpassed 300 yards in 3 straight games, and the strength of Louisville's team is their defense. Not a great pairing for Kentucky, which may relinquish its 4-game winning streak in the series. I got Louisville winning this game 26-16. Louisville over Kentucky. MF, your thoughts on Kentucky and number 10 Louisville?
I'm in total agreement with you. I think Louisville just has turned up the switch now, right at the right time to do it as well. I got Louisville winning as well. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Bullock, are you there? All right. Not sure if Bullock stepped away or what or what's going on with him, but nonetheless, we'll await for Michael Bullock to come back and give us his thoughts on this game. So with that being said, let's move on to the final 12 noon game on Saturday. Only 3 of them. We have the number 14 LSU Tigers at home at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, and they're going to be welcoming the Texas A&M Aggies. And that game will be over on ESPN. And it will have Bob Wischusen, Robert Griffin III, and Chris Budden on the call. LSU opening up as an 11.5-point favorite. So, MF, number 14. Okay, Michael Bullock's back. Okay. All right, Bullock, your thoughts on number 10 Louisville at home against Kentucky?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Louisville, I think that I expect them to handle their business with their long rivals, the Kentucky Wildcats. So I mean, Louisville's already in the ACC championship game. I just think they need to win here and continue that momentum going into that ACC title game. So it's yours, Florio.
All right, now let's go back, set it up again. The number 14 LSU Tigers at home against the Texas A&M Aggies. Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge. Game over on ESPN with Bob Wischusen, Robert Griffin III, and Chris Budden. And LSU opening up as an 11.5-point favorite. All right, MF, now you can come on in. Number 14 LSU at home against Texas A&M to close out the 12 noon slate.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with LSU. I just feel like, whenever you get these type of matchups, it can go a number of different ways. But I just feel like LSU is gonna find a way to win it. It's not gonna be an easy game. I'll openly admit that. And this could be one of those type of dogfight type matches. But I don't know. I feel like LSU is gonna figure out a way to win it, and I do believe they'll get the job done. So that would be my prediction here. LSU wins. Bullock, go.
Yeah, I got LSU winning this one as well. I mean, yeah, I expect them to handle their business with Texas A&M here. So LSU wins. It's yours, Florio.
LSU has yielded 31 plus points in 5 of its 7 SEC games. And Texas A&M is certainly capable of hitting the mark. Trying to contain LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels is a different story for A&M, though. Daniels has solidified himself as a top Heisman Trophy threat with 13 touchdowns in the last 2 games. LSU wins, high-scoring game, 45-34 LSU over Texas A&M. We move on now to the 3:30 slate of action, and we got 5 3:30 games to get into. It is 5, yes. And we started off with what I believe will be hands down the game of the 3:30 slate, the Iron Bowl, the number 3 game of the week, the number 8 Alabama Crimson Tide on the road against the Auburn Tigers, Jordan-Hare Stadium, Auburn, Alabama, the regular season finale, or the series, the penultimate game of the SEC on CBS. They'll only have one more game, and that is next week's SEC championship game, and that will be the end of the era known as the SEC on CBS before they transition to the Big Ten next year, and the SEC goes over to ABC and ESPN. But what a way to close it out on the regular season end of the SEC on CBS. The Iron Bowl, number 8 Alabama and Auburn. And you know who's working in it as always. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jenny Dell. They will be there. And Alabama opening up as a 14.5-point favorite. Michael Bullock, we started off with you. The second to last game, the second to last SEC on CBS game, and what a way to have it. The Iron Bowl with number 8 Alabama and Auburn.
Yeah, what a way to close out the regular season portion of the SEC on CBS with the Iron Bowl. And we've seen a lot of great games when it comes to this Iron Bowl between these two teams. And Florio, you know the one that really stands out to all of us here when it comes to the Iron Bowl.
Chris.
Yeah, all you gotta do is say that, and we all know it. So
the kick six.
Exactly. But I don't expect another one of those. I don't even expect it to be close. I mean, Alabama, they're on a roll right now, and I expect them to continue it and build momentum towards the SEC championship game next week's, where they battle the Maine and Georgia Bulldogs. So Bama wins. It's yours, Wario.
And oh, by the way, that's the game of the week next week. Oh, by the way, and that will be part of our season finale of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday, next Thursday night, November 30th. I'll have more on that at the end of the show. All right. As far as this one is concerned, Bullock brought up the greatest Iron Bowl of all time. That was in 2013. The Chris Davis kick six, Vern Lundquist losing his mind. but I'm afraid we're not gonna. It's not gonna be like that at all here. I'm sorry to say. In 2023, Auburn fell narrowly shy of an Iron Bowl upset 2 years ago, so it seems wise to not discount the Tigers. On the other hand, New Mexico State just throttled Auburn, so I will discount Auburn as Alabama works to stay alive in the college football playoff race, and they should do it rather comfortably. I'm afraid we're back to the next victim mentality here. I got Bama winning this one comfortably. Bama wins 34-17. Alabama wins the Iron Bowl. So not much more to say. MF, Alabama and Auburn in the Iron Bowl.
I totally agree with what you just said there. I also have Alabama winning the Iron Bowl. Not much more to say. So, yeah, Anthony, it's back to you.
All righty. And we move on now to the Battle of Arizona, as it will be the number 15 Arizona Wildcats squaring off against the Arizona State Sun Devils at Mountain America Stadium, formerly known as Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. You can find this game over on ESPN. And on the call for that one will be Mark Jones, Louis Riddick, and Quint Kessenich. And Arizona opening up as a 10.5-point favorite. It's got to be Zona. I mean, Zona's the hottest team right now. I mean, they're quietly becoming the toast of the college football world. I mean, who had Arizona going on this magical run that they've been going on? It's unbelievable. Arizona State is delightfully inconsistent to the point it upset UCLA, nearly beat Washington, and endured losses of 36-plus points to both Utah and Oregon. So, hey, Arizona should win easily. But maybe the Sun Devils have one final competitive game up their sleeves, but not really. I got Arizona continuing this magical run, 34-20, Arizona over Arizona State. MF, like I said, who seriously had Arizona being this good? None of us did.
Yeah, none of us. No, this everybody by surprise. But I'm totally in agreement, man. I believe Arizona will win this game, and there's really nothing more to add. So, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, this has been a really good run for Arizona, and yeah, I expect them to continue this. So yeah, I got Arizona winning this one as well. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
All right, and we move on to the next game. MF, you'll start it off. Continuing in the 3:30 window, the number 20 Oklahoma State Cowboys at home at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and they're going to be hosting the Cougars of BYU. You can find this game over on ABC. And on the call for this game will be Anish Shroff, Andre Ware, and Paul Carcaterra. Oklahoma State opening up as a 17.5-point favorite. MF, you all remember Oklahoma State? They got humiliated by UCF, and last week they took their frustrations out on Houston and then some.
Like you said, frustration's not even the word I would say. It was just they just had a day for them. Houston just did not play good at all. Like you said, they got beaten down. So really nothing more to say there. Look, I will say this. You want to talk about a team that definitely wants to, I guess you could say, wants that respect. There's no other team that's probably looking for more respect than any other team. Than what? Are we talking about Washington right now? Or no? Wait, we're talking about
Oklahoma. It's
Oklahoma.
It's number 20 Oklahoma State at home against BYU.
Yeah. So this is all about Oklahoma State. So there's really nothing more to say. OK State wins. Bullock, it's yours.
Bo, you just muted yourself.
Yeah, I don't know why that happened, but it is what it is. So yeah, I got Oklahoma State winning this one as well. I expect them to win this one, and so yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
Fortunately for BYU, it broke out of a miserable 3-game funk and put a scare into Oklahoma last week. The problem is the Cougars aren't hosting this matchup, while Oklahoma State is a win away from clinching a spot in the Big 12 championship game. Got to go with Oklahoma State here. 33-16, Oklahoma State over BYU. So not much more to say on that one. We move on to our next 3:30 game, and it'll feature the number 21 Tennessee Volunteers at home at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, and they're going to be welcoming their hated rivals, the Vanderbilt Commodores. You can find this game over on the SEC Network, and on the call for that game will be Dave Neal, Derek Mason, and Taylor Davis. Tennessee opening up as a 27-point favorite. So, Michael Bullock, I believe it starts with you here. Number 21, Tennessee at home against Vanderbilt. Tennessee, a 27-point favorite.
Yeah, I expect Tennessee to have no problems with this one here. I got them handling their business with Vanderbilt. So Tennessee wins. It's yours, Florio.
Oh yeah, there's no question here. This is a much needed bounce back opportunity for Tennessee, which lost to Missouri and Georgia by a combined score of 74-17 in the last 2 weeks. Vanderbilt is headed for its third winless SEC record since 2020. Tennessee wins, get right game. They will win in a laugher, 41-14. Tennessee all over Vanderbilt. MF.
Tennessee wins. Really nothing more to add, Florio. You made every valid point there, so let's just move on.
And we have one 3:30 game left. And this is a first. This is the first time we've called this team in the top 25. The number 25, Liberty Flames. Liberty will be on the road against the UTEP Miners from the Sun Bowl. That's the Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. This game can be found over on the CBS Sports Network. And on the call for that one will be Alex Del Barrio and Taylor McHargu. And Liberty is opening up as a 17-point favorite. So let's see if we can dive into this one. Okay. Other than a 21-16 win over Sam Houston in early October, Liberty has scored at least 33 points in every game. UTEP, conversely, has reached the mark in only one game this season. I got Liberty winning this one. I got them winning comfortably. 38-21, Liberty over UTEP. So, MF, give it up for Liberty in the top 25.
Yes, absolutely. Tremendous work that they've done lately, and I got Liberty winning as well. So, nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, we definitely got to give some love to Liberty here. I mean, in the top 25, I mean, good for them. So, yeah, I mean, I got the Liberty winning this one and continuing their run in the top 25. So, it's yours, Florio.
All right, that's it for the 3:30s. We have a 4 o'clock game, but we got a good one in the 4 o'clock window, guys. The Apple Cup, the Battle of Washington, the now number 4. That's right, you heard me. Number 4, Washington Huskies at home at Alaska Airlines, Field at Husky Stadium in Seattle, and they're going to be welcoming their hated rivals, the Washington State Cougars, the Apple Cup. This game will be over on Fox, and on the call for this game, second time, Jason Benetti, Brock Heward, Allison Williams. And Washington opening up as a 16.5-point favorite in this latest installment of the Apple Cup. After dropping 6 straight games, Washington State snapped its skid in a dismantling of Colorado. With bowl eligibility at stake, though, a trip to Washington is not ideal. Washington finishes off an unblemished regular season. 38-23. Washington defeats Washington State, wins the Apple Cup. So not much more to say here. MF, Washington now in the top 4 as they will welcome Washington State in the latest installment of the Apple Cup.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm going with Washington as well. I just don't think State's going to make much of a problem here. Washington wins, and Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got Washington winning this one as well. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on.
Prime time, gentlemen. We got 6 games left, and these next 2 are in the 7:00 window. And it's only fitting that MF leads off on the next one because this is the battle for the Sunshine State. Another Sunshine State showdown to kick off the 7:00 games. 7:00 over on ESPN. The now number 5 Florida State Seminoles on the road against the Florida Gators. Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida. You can find this game over on ESPN. The A-team, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe, they will have it. And Florida State opening up as only a 6.5-point favorite. It's only a 6.5-point spread for Florida State. And I think a good reason for that is because Florida State's quarterback, Jordan Travis, suffered an injury that ended his season in that cupcake win last week. So, oh boy. So, not much more to say here. MF, number 5, Florida State at Florida to close out the regular season before they battle Louisville in the ACC championship. But they got to do it without their quarterback, Jordan Travis. He's done.
Yeah, bad loss, bad injury, no doubt about it. And I do believe FSU wins the game. I don't think it's going to be a bad game. I think it's going to be a very good one. So yeah, I really got nothing more to say. So give me Florida State to. So I think Florida State will win this game. Where they might run into problem might be the ACC championship, but we'll get into that next week. So Florida State wins. Nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm right here. So, yeah, yeah, this is yeah, that's tough losing their top quarterback for the rest of the season. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt them in this game. I do expect Florida State to win this one, but that could be a problem for them next week in the ACC championship when they got to deal with Louisville. So Florida State wins. It's yours, Florio.
While the Seminoles still have college football playoff dreams, their dreams of competing for a national championship took a crushing hit when a leg injury ended quarterback Jordan Travis's excellent season. Tate Rodemaker steps in at quarterback, but Florida State can lean on its defense to navigate rival Florida, which is dealing with a season-ending shoulder injury to their quarterback, Graham Mertz. Florida State wins. I'm going to say 24-16. Florida State defeats Florida. The other 7:00 game, and it will feature my team, the number 18 Notre Dame Fighting Irish, on the road for their regular season finale before whichever bowl game they will be in. They'll be squaring off against the Stanford Cardinal at Stanford Stadium in Palo Alto. And believe it or not, this game will be over on the Pac-12 network. So for all you Golden Domers out there, you got to go to the Pac-12 network to find this game. Ted Robinson and Yogi Roth will be on the call, and Notre Dame opening up as a 25.5-point favorite. So Michael Bullock, number 18 Notre Dame at Stanford. on Saturday night, 7 p.m. on the Pac-12 network.
Yeah, normally, of course, there's a lot of pretty good games when it comes to these two teams, but yeah, it's going to be an easy day for your team, Florio, the Fighting Irish. So, yeah, I got nothing more to say. Notre Dame wins this one in a laugher. It's yours.
Yeah. They got back to basics last week with that dismantling of Wake Forest. Sam Hartman, you know how bad he wanted that one. But nonetheless, Notre Dame has been vulnerable outside of South Bend, but Stanford has scored more than 20 points in only 2 games against power conference teams. To me, that's a tough sell for an upset. I got Notre Dame winning this one. Notre Dame wins. My final score, 31-20. Notre Dame defeats Stanford. So, MF, one last tune-up for Notre Dame before their bowl game.
Yeah, Golden Domers should win this one. Notre Dame should win this one pretty handily. I'm in total agreement with you guys on that one. So, yeah, really nothing more to say. Anthony, it is yours.
All right, gentlemen, we got 4 games left, and we have 2 7:30 games next. And we move on to the Battle of Georgia to lead off the 7:30 slate. The number one team in all the land, your reigning, defending, undisputed back college football playoff national champions, the Maiden Georgia Bulldogs, number 1, on the road against their cross-state rivals, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And that game, of course, will be at Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta. And this game will be on ABC. It's the ABC Saturday night game of the week. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, and Molly McGrath will be on the call. Georgia opening up as a 24.5-point favorite. I mean, obviously, it's going to be Georgia here. Not only has Georgia posted 5 straight wins in clean, old-fashioned hate, the Dogs have recorded a 23-point margin of victory or greater in each game. Given how well Georgia has played lately, that trend will and should continue. Georgia in a laugher, 42-17. Georgia all over Georgia Tech. MF, obviously, our last tune-up for Georgia before a huge SEC championship game against Alabama, which is our game of the week next week.
Yeah, so total agreement here. I do believe Georgia should win it and win this pretty comfortably. There's really nothing more to add. So, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a really good tune-up game for Georgia before their big SEC championship matchup against the Crimson Tide. So, yeah, so there's no doubt about it. I got Georgia winning this one. But, yeah, next week, they got Alabama. So that's going to be a good one, boys. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
All right. 3 games left. The other 7:30 game here, and it will feature the Battle of South Carolina. It's the number 24 Clemson Clemson back in the top 25. The number 24 Clemson Tigers on the road against the South Carolina Gamecocks. Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. You can find this game over on the SEC Network. And on the call for that game will be Taylor Zarzar, Matt Stinchcomb, and Alyssa Lang. Clemson opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. MF, I know it's been an up and down season for Clemson. They started bad, they got hot, then they went bad, and then they started playing like themselves again. Big wins over Notre Dame and North Carolina, and Clemson back in the top 25 once again.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I believe Clemson will win this game. So like you said, it's been such a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde season for this team, but I think Clemson gets the job done. So give me the Tigers to win it, and Michael Bullock, it is yours.
Yeah, Yeah, good to see Clemson back in the top 25, and yeah, I expect them to stay there, and as I expect them to take care of their business here. So Clemson wins. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah. Okay, I was just checking on one other thing here. Okay. I believe. Oh yeah, that's right. MF started it, so let me get into it here. Just trying to find it in my notes here. Okay. Oh, forgive me. It's having a bit of a time finding this one. Clemson and South Carolina. All right. I don't think I have a full set on this one, but what I can tell you is that I got Clemson as well. I mean, um, I can definitely see Clemson winning this game. I'm going to say 26-19. Clemson defeats South Carolina. Clemson, um, they played like their old selves again. Dominant wins at home over Notre Dame and North Carolina recently, and that's going to be a tough one. South Carolina, that's not an easy place to win, but I think they can get it done. So 26-19, Clemson over South Carolina. 2 games left, 8:00 kickoffs, both of them. And we start off with the number 19 Kansas State Wildcats at home at Bill Snyder Family Memorial Stadium in Manhattan, Kansas. And they're going to be welcoming the Iowa State Cyclones. And you can find this game over on Fox. Second time for these guys, Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, and Josh Sims. And Kansas State opening up as a 10-point favorite. So I believe Michael Bullock starts this one off. So Bullock, number 19, Kansas State at home against Iowa State.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Kansas State. Yeah, I expect them to win this one, and yeah, they're. I mean, I like what I've seen from them, and I do expect it to continue. So, Kansas State wins. It's yours, Florio.
Definitely. Gotta go with K-State here. Kansas State is a perfect 6-0 at home, where the defense comparatively cedes a staggering 1.8 yards fewer per snap. I'm not going to argue with the numbers, even as Iowa State has, like so many previous Matt Campbell teams, started to compete well in the latter half of the season. But I think Kansas State will win it late. 26-23. Kansas State defeats Iowa State. MF, your thoughts?
K-State wins this one. Probably closer than what the experts have it, but I do believe they'll get the job done. So, Florio, it's yours.
All right, gentlemen, one last game, the final game of the night. And it's the Battle of North Carolina. That's how we're going to close it out here tonight. And it will feature the number 20, the now number 22 North Carolina State Wolfpack at home against the North Carolina Tar Heels, Carter Finley Stadium, Raleigh, North Carolina. You can find this game over on the ACC network. On the call for that one will be Wes Durham, Tim Hasselbeck, and Taylor Tannenbaum. North Carolina opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. Yeah. Tell you what. How the mighty have fallen for North Carolina. I mean, they've had a great season up until recently. You remember they had that dud. They lost to Dud Virginia, and then they got upset on the road against Clemson, and NC State all of a sudden has caught fire. So, I mean, I know North Carolina is the favorite, but I'm starting to think about this one a little bit. This is now a tough one to call here, if I'm going to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to go with North Carolina. I think North Carolina can bounce back and win this one, but I would not at all be surprised if NC State were to steal it. But I'm going to take a chance on Carolina. North Carolina wins 28-25. So, MF, North Carolina out of the rankings. NC State is in at number 22.
Yeah, I know. Very interesting to see how this plays out, but I'm with you. I think Carolina wins it. I think Carolina gets the job done. So really nothing more to say. So I think Carolina wins it, and Florio, it's yours.
No,
Bullock.
Michael Bullock. Bullock,
Yep.
take us home,
Yeah,
Bullock.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you guys. I'm gonna take a chance here and go with North Carolina as well. I think they'll close out the regular season with a win here. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say except Florio. Let's put a bow on this edition of TXN Sports World Football Feast.
Will do, Bullock, and that will indeed put the bow on this. I believe it's, like I said, I think it's our 11th or 12th overall, but it's the second under the TXN Sports World banner, our second annual TXN Sports World Football Feast. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always, and for your continued love and support throughout the years, whether it's TXN Sports World or Talking Wrestling TXN on our family of networks, whether it's here on the Tone 25 or on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. We can't do it without you guys. You are the best. We love you all, and nothing more to say on that. No show tomorrow night, obviously, because it's Thanksgiving. So we will be back with you on Friday night, 10 p.m., I believe. It'll be at 10 p.m. over right back here on the Tone 25, the Week 12 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday. We'll address the Thanksgiving and Black Friday games. Well, we'll do a small recap of those before we get into the remaining slate. A double main event of our own. The Jacksonville Jaguars against the Houston Texans in a battle for first place in the AFC South. And the Buffalo Bills against the Philadelphia Eagles. But we got some other good games on tap as well. So we'll get into all that on Friday night. No show on Saturday either because Survivor Series. So I do believe Sunday night we will have a Survivor Series recap show over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. And then, of course, Monday night we do it all again. Ridiculously Raw. And then 1 week from tonight will be the return of Wednesday Night Madness. This is the 1 week a year where Wednesday Night Madness goes on the back burner. But don't worry, it will be back next week. You'll get your NXT, you'll get your AEW Dynamite, and review of next Thursday night football game, the Seattle Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys. Good one there in the NFC. So that's it. So until Friday night for the Week 12 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Friday, this is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and of course, always and forever, the First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw the Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Thanksgiving tomorrow. And on behalf of all of us here at TXN Sports World and Talking Wrestling TXN, we want to wish each and every one of you out there a very happy and blessed Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to Michael Bullock.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving,
happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Have a great one, guys. Enjoy it, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.
Friday.
Good night, everybody.
Yep. 10 p.m., right, MF?
Yes.
Okay. So Friday night, 10 p.m. Until then, on behalf of all of us here, happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you out there. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Bullock, and yours. Same to you, MF. And
thank you, Florio.
Yes, sir. And until
same
Friday
to you
night,
and your fam. Same to you and your family. And Fletch, same to you and your family.
Amen. Amen. And one last thing to say. I mean, I couldn't be any more thankful to do this show with the two best friends a guy could ever ask for. Good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. Not much more to say on that.
I second that. I mean, I'm very thankful to do the show with two very best friends and Anthony Florio that I've known for so long, and of course, good old MF Michael Fletcher. It's a pleasure to do this show, and I'm very thankful that we're doing this.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. So that's it. So until Friday night for TXN Sports World NFL Friday, you have been watching the 2023 TXN Sports World Football Feast right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, For now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Good night.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and bye-bye, everybody.